All right. PGA season's over. Thank God. Moving on. Live only. Live only on this show after today. Because today we want to talk about what Rory McIlroy said after his rounds at the Tour Championship. And I know that we don't have Cheech here, so we don't have our PGA Tour expert. But
right. Or a Rory fanboy. Although you're a Rory fanboy, we know that.
Yeah, when
you got some fandomness.
When he finally signs his contract with LIV, and that's coming soon. We will. I know that's going to be my favorite team. You can lock that in.
Of course.
Okay, ready? This is what Rory said. He officially put Jay Monahan and Tiger Woods on the clock back on August 29th after his round. When talking about the PIF and the Saudis and PGA Tour, he said, "I think if it doesn't happen soon, honestly, I think PIF and the Saudis are going to have to look at alternative options. I'd say that's the next step in all this if something doesn't get done. There are other tours in which they could invest, but then it keeps the game divided." Right?
I mean, I don't know. Back to the PGA thing. I mean, finally we can get to some real golf and get away from the boring victories of Scotty Scheffler.
Right.
So that's nice. But yeah, Roy, I mean, he had a couple little tantrums as of late, and I think he's not really that poster child for the PGA anymore. I think he's kind of having some personal meltdowns here, and I think it's time for a change. I think Rory's going to be scooting over.
You know he has to break up with Tiger first, though, because...
Oh, that's going to be a bad breakup, let me tell you. It's going to be like not showing up for prom in the limo, leaving him outside on his front doorstep. Poor guy.
Well, there's like only one way this can go, right? TGL has to go away, because if TGL is still there, that's the PGA Tour, right? That's Tiger and Rory's baby. And then Tiger is just finally left out on an island by himself. I don't know if Rory has the balls to do that. But if he does, that would be the biggest move maybe in the history of all this. Yeah. He certainly has the power. Anyway, here we are still. It's September 2nd, 2024, and we still have guys saying things like this. That to get what's likely part of the discussions, this is from Bob Herrig of Sports Illustrated, to get a deal, you can't keep them from coming back for a year plus, talking about the LIV guys. But there are clearly those, talking about the PGA Tour guys, who feel the LIV guys, took the money and broke the rules. How the fuck are we still talking about took the money and broke the rules?
How is that a conversation? How is that an honest conversation here? Like, we're not past that. There's so much more here. So much more to dive into, and we're still talking about money. Stupid.
It's such a clown thing to say. It
so
truly
stupid.
It's the dumbest thing that's been said.
The league has spoke for itself by now. So dumb.
Not to mention all the good it's done for the PGA guys' pockets, the salaries that they get now. I mean, come on.
They think there's no direct relation to what happened in LIV to what they're now getting paid. Come on, stop.
Silly.
Stop. The increase in purses and whatnot, it's ridiculous. But they'll stay on that, you know?
They will. They have no other talking points. PIF isn't the only person investing money in PGA Tour. We've talked about this a million times. The SSG investment, which was $1.5 billion, it's already spent. They spent it just to keep players from moving from the PGA Tour to LIV this season. And one of the guys, I know it's wild, one of the guys, Rex Hoggard, I don't know how to say his name, Hogard, from Golf Channel. He's the guy with like the short cropped, talk about with the gray hair,
Yep.
He was talking after one of the rounds at the Tour Championship, except the first round. No, it must have been after the first round, because Monahan talked right before the first round. And he got a chance to ask Jay Monahan a question after his interview, and kind of like had a personal conversation with him about the SSG. And Rex said Monahan, referenced that using the expertise from the other sports is how to make the path forward for the PGA Tour. And when he said that, there's only one thing that you can assume, and that is John Henry with baseball, the other owners with football, soccer, hockey, like all these SSG owner guys they own franchise-based that use revenue-sharing salaries with their players, salary caps and things like that have changed their sports over the last 40 years to make them more fan-friendly and more player-driven schedules. That's just exactly what LIV Golf is.
Exactly. You're spot on. I mean, that's a perfect description of it, right? It's like, it's
No, I mean, I'm just saying, if they're going to use the expertise of the guys who gave them 1.5 billion and promised them another 1.5 billion, if they're going to use their expertise, they're going to use their expertise from the other sports that they already are successful in. And none of those are sports where guys go out there and don't get paid a salary. None.
Yeah.
None of those are individualized sports. None. So they don't have expertise in that. So they don't have any expertise in what the PGA Tour has been for 100 years. None.
100 years, yeah.
It's crazy.
It is.
Anyway, back to Rory. He was not done taking shots at the PGA Tour and or whatever he's doing. Tiger Woods, Jay Monahan, American golf. I'm not even sure where he went with this, but it was super interesting after his final round. They asked him about him only playing, like, how many tournaments he plans on playing in the fall, which he said, like, maybe 3 or 4 more, and that would get him up to, like, 25 to 27-ish for the season. And he said, going forward, I'm going to cut it back to, like, 18 or 20 in a year. And so in 2025, there'll be 14 LIV Golf events, 4 majors, 1 Ryder Cup, and Rory's own Scottish Open. Reading between the lines much, or am I just getting...
I don't know. I mean, it's interesting, right? Take it for what it is.
He didn't pick that number randomly. He did not pick that number randomly.
Does it line up exactly to what you think it would be?
It literally lines up exactly. 14 for the LIV, 4 majors is 18, and then 2 more would be 18 to 20, he said. The other 2 would be the Ryder Cup and the Scottish Open. The literal 2 events that he looks forward to every year.
See you soon, Rory. Come on.
Right? It has to be.
I mean, he's got to throw subtle hints now. And this is it. I mean, you don't just say stuff like that. I mean, he could be riling people up, but I don't think he's that way. I think he's at a point in his career. He's got kids. Wife, then no wife, then wife, then no wife. But still love you, Rory. But yeah, I mean, this is a good opportunity for him to come over. And I don't know. Do you think he's still stuck on, like, if I come over, I'm going to lose a ton of fan base? Or do you think he's at a point in his life where he doesn't necessarily care? Because if Phil never did any of this and wasn't one of the original spokespeople, he would be, in the PGA Tour fans' eyes, an absolute legend, right? He'd go down as one of the greatest. People love him, especially New York people. They love Phil. Love Phil. Now that he did this, so many people say, tarnished, right? He's tarnished. His legacy will live on as something terrible and not something great. Do you think Rory feels that way deep down, or do you think he just doesn't care? Like, we know Brooks and a DJ, those guys, like, they don't care what people say about him. They're like, peace, this is for me, not for you. I don't care. I don't need fans. I'm good. I'm happy. I could play golf and I can support my family and enjoy it and be bad boys, and it is what it is. What's your opinion on that?
I look at Rory much like I look at Bryson. He has tried so hard to fit in to this mold of an American superstar golfer, and he's not. And he's not. And he didn't want to be.
Right.
And he is always stuck up for the world golf. He's always stuck up for getting more tournaments outside of America and going outside and spreading golf to the rest of the world, and not golf being an Americanized sport. And just like Bryson had the vision of golf can't just be the 4 rounds we play inside of the PGA ropes. We need to do other things. We need to reach other people. We need to go to YouTube. We need to show our personalities. Even if we're weird, even if we drink milk instead of beer, it doesn't matter. Like, right? Like, people want to see that. They want to see the authentic side of you. And obviously Bryson has killed it, crushed it.
And he's a spokesperson for it.
Yeah.
He is your epitome of, he's weird. He's odd. He's this. And then look, you get to see him on a personal level between YouTube and just embracing the fans in a totally different way. Look, he's one of the most loved guys out there on both sides.
Right.
He's taken over both sides.
I think Rory has to look that way to say, listen, man, like, he could just come out and say, listen, I was the puppet. I was the guy who had to say this was best for the DP World Tour, even though I know it wasn't. I know it wasn't. I had to do it. This is what the sponsors told me to say. This is what FedEx needed me to push out there. This is what, this is where the money was coming from, and this is what I had to do. But now I can go to this league and just be me.
Yep.
And I think that includes bringing over Shane Lowry and Tommy Fleetwood. And Tommy Fleetwood, those are his boys, right? Bobby Mack.
They are. But
those
I
are the
don't
guys.
think, when I think of Tommy Fleetwood, I think of LIV. right?
know,
I think
of
a
course.
bad boy, not bad boy, but like a guy who doesn't necessarily he loves his fans. I'm not going to speak for him, but I think he is okay with detaching himself from. He doesn't even have PGA Tour victory, right? But like PGA Tour, I think he can make that transition. And I think he'd be well accepted in LIV. Shane Lowry has the bad boy personality, but when I think of Shane Lowry, I think of PGA Tour. I don't know why.
Interesting.
Now, I don't know if other fans think that way, but I think that way. I truly feel that way. And he rubs me a little weird.
That's fine. I mean, like, there are some guys on LIV that you'd be like, well, I can't believe this guy's plays for, like, LIV Golf, like Jason Kokrak or, you know, like you're like, this guy doesn't fit the mold at all. He's just some quiet dude who likes to go out there and golf, right? He's like awkward guy. We have plenty of those guys on LIV. But I just think, like, Rory was really, truly going to be himself and really, truly have the remainder of his career that he wants. Like what Bryson did, he took control of his career and said, I'm going to do this. I'm tired of being this. I'm going to do this. He says it all the time. I was just, I wasn't me. I couldn't fit there. I didn't fit there, and I fit here. It's not, I don't even fit here. I just fit. I'm just being me.
Right.
And everyone accepts me. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I'm just here. And I think Rory needs that. Rory just needs to be there, play golf again, be around his friends. Everyone talks about how great and family-like LIV is and the team concept. And I think the perfect thing for Rory would be to surround himself with fewer voices, fewer people. You know what I mean? And really narrow it down. Yes.
Less chirpage.
And he said so many things. That's the problem. He's just said so many things. Like he's gone one side or other. We've covered this for 2 years. Back and forth. And that's all. It's fine because the day you show up and LIV, that all goes out the window. No one criticizes Jon Rahm for saying that he was never going to take the money and he didn't need the money. No one ever mentions that. No. Except for PGA Tour guys.
Right. Our fans.
Right.
We don't have positive fans. We have PGA fans.
Yeah. And it's like,
call them what you will.
I just think that it's in a spot now. We get to this. We're in a big off season next year. A lot of these contracts expire. These 3-year deals are up. Brooks, Bubba, Phil, DJ, all the originals. Right. All those guys are contracts. Cam, all those guys' contracts are coming back up after. And I think it's time for the other guys to cash in on those big deals and make. This is going to sound so crazy. Make LIV the premier destination for a golfer who wants to be recognized as the best in the world. It's not going to be the guy who, I'm not saying the majors will lose their credibility. They won't, because the majors are going to have to reevaluate their criteria, of course.
Right. With slight change comes big change. You're going to have to, change everything in order for the two to mesh and two to work. Not just PGA events, not just LIV events, not just the two together, but outside stuff as well. The way you earn points, the way the playoffs are, the way majors are. I mean, all that stuff, even Ryder Cup stuff. You're going to have to change all of that, right? The ruling on it, how you get a spot on each and things like that. So it's all going to have to change. Sure, right. I mean, come on over to the best tour in the world.
All right, we got to do it. I'm just nailing it down now. 25, LIV Golf's first event is Rory McIlroy teeing it.
I mean, with comments like that he made, I mean, no.
You can't get there yet.
I can't get there yet. I think either a late season ad or a 2026 not yet. I'm not saying I don't want it to happen. I hope like millions of people change their perspective on Bryson DeChambeau. I hope I change mine on Rory. I do. And I hope he comes over and I can be a Rory fan. Right now I'm not.
I hear that. If he breaks up with Tiger.
I mean, you're the biggest fan.
I know, I'm the Rory guy. And if he breaks up with Tiger.
You got that Rory tattoo yet or what, bro?
If he breaks up with Tiger, there's nothing you can do more for me than to break Tiger Woods' heart.
You're not even allowed to talk about him, are you?
The season's over. PGA season's over.
Okay, you can.
PGA season's over. I'm going to make a wild prediction. This is my wild prediction.
This is going to be nuts.
This is the wildest prediction you'll ever hear. Not only will Rory McIlroy come and join LIV Golf, but all those teams that are already signed up for TGL will play their own league, and that will be like the other conference of golf.
Stop it.
That's the move. That's checkmate. That is
okay.
The PGA doesn't want to play, right? The PGA Tour doesn't want to budge. There's going to be Scotty. There's going to be Monahan. There's going to be all of these pieces, the Golf Channel. There's going to be all these pieces that don't want to budge on the deal, the merger, whatever you want to call it. It's not none of that. It's none of those things. But why wouldn't another startup team league want to combine with a team league that is already funded by the most amount of money in the world and already is established in a different way? Streaming, that's what we want to see. Younger audience, that's what they need. Like, it's literally exactly what TGL needs. And they don't need the PGA Tour to do that. They just need, they're backed by SSG. So if the SSG guys want to make the deal with PIF, they can make that business deal.
True.
It's wild.
That's wild.
It's wild.
That is.
Considering that league has never even had a swing yet.
Exactly.
It's wild. But I truly think that is the end. That's, like I said, that's checkmate. That'd be it. It's over. And the PGA Tour will still be around, but it's not going to be like, it's not going to be like
the only prestigious tour. Yeah.
It's just not going to be.
That's a wild statement.
Anyway,
what's up?
We tried out a new format this week. We'll see if we can get everybody in.
God, please. This has been
a disaster. But all right,
we'll get there.
Let's get the fuck.